I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
He's already laughing. Talking Dicks, we're the spin-off podcast from the web series The Two Dicks. I'm Al Ducharme, Studio City, California, and that is my partner on the lower section there, Al Romas from Tampa, Florida. Al, what's going on?
Just a little Super Bowl hangover, getting back to normal a little bit. But I'm excited today because we have a special guest.
We do
on the pod.
We do. Who?
A special
Super
guest.
Special.
A guy. Yeah, a guy who was in one of our Two Dicks episodes, Turf War. We shot that one in around Boston.
Malden, Massachusetts.
Giggles.
Yes.
Malden, and we were at Giggles, and we've got him. He's also you'll recognize him from The Sopranos. Mm-hmm. Here he is, folks. Let's welcome Frank Santorelli.
Frank Santorelli in the house. Franklin.
And he left.
Don't get up. Don't get up from your seats. Please don't rush the stage as I'm leaving.
Now, Franklin, you're just outside of the Boston area, correct, right now?
Yes.
Where you're residing? In Lincoln.
In Lincoln, Mass.
That's where the rich people live.
It's a bunch of old rich people.
So,
that is,
yes.
Isn't it the richest and the most expensive condominiums in the United States
country,
or something? That's what I heard. That's what I heard 3 minutes ago from you. Yeah, that's true. Wow, you're doing well.
Let me give a little background on Frank, just a little bit. Originally from the Cleveland area. That's where you started your stand-up comedy in the Cleveland area.
With Drew Carey.
You later moved to Boston, and that's where I met you. You were an outsider in the Boston area. And I was also an outsider because I was trying to break into the Boston comedy scene, which was pretty big back then. And you were an outsider. And when I came up from Rhode Island to Boston, the local guys were so mean to me. They made me earn it. And I was just starting to break through, and they were just starting to like me a little bit. And then you, in a green room at one of the comedy clubs, I think it was Play It Again Sam's or Stitches somewhere, you went, "You guys know Al Ducharme? Comic genius." And then they hated me all over again. You sent me back.
He had never seen you yet? Is that what happened?
That's what happened. He had never seen me.
Nice. Oh, okay.
But Al, he had sent me back. I had just made some leeway into the scene. And he was an outsider too, but he was genuine about it. He was being nice. And you and I hit it off right from the beginning. As Al Romas and I, we somehow, I don't know what it was, we clicked. And that's what you guys have in common, I guess. Me, but we all kind of clicked.
Funny people.
Out of the gate.
Good, nice people. Frank, did you, what was the club in Cleveland that you were?
It was the Cleveland Comedy Club.
Oh.
It was called the Cleveland Comedy Club. It was a brick shoebox, which was an old gay strip club.
So
that turned it into a comedy club.
That was an easy slide for you. Slide over, right?
Absolutely.
And that
was already in the drag show, so why not?
Why not?
Open mic
Drew
night,
Carey
Cleveland Comedy Club, 1981. I won the first open mic night I went to, and then I won 4 weeks in a row.
Jesus, you're a middle act now. Move them up.
You know what it was? I came from the theater, so I had no stage fright, and there were 25 acts. I ain't kidding you.
Wow.
It was packed, 200 people packed into this place. And every Sunday night was this crazy open mic night where $50 first prize is the winner. And I went up there and I did the Skipper from Gilligan's Island, all this stuff I'm still doing.
I know you did, because I laugh at it just as hard now.
That's hilarious.
I won the $50, and the guy said to me, "You got to come back and defend your title next week." I said, "Oh no, I live in New York. I just came home for the holidays. I was in acting classes in New York. I was his waiter in the restaurant and all this other shit." And he said, "You got to come back and defend you." I said, no, I'm all done. He said, "Listen to me. This is real." He goes, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, but there's something going on here. You're different from the rest of these guys. I said, "Really?" He said, "You should come back next week." I said, "Nah, I can't." I left. They wouldn't cash the check at the bank because they weren't sure it was a real business.
Of course.
The Cleveland Comedy Club, $50. Woman looks at it. She calls the manager over. It's like, red flags all over the place. Anyway, I go back and I win again. I tell the people in New York I'm
same
sick.
act, or do you have new material?
I have no idea what I'm doing. You only get 6 minutes.
So are you repeating what you did last
goofing
week?
Around.
Okay, all right,
perfect.
Just goofing around up there, and I won again.
Wow.
And he said, you got to come back. And I said, no, I can't. I really can't. And I went back again, and I won 4 weeks in a row.
You're playing hard to get.
And he goes, we're going to put you in the regular shows. We're going to put you in the regular shows now. And I said, okay, what do I do? He said, you do 5 minutes up front, bring up the first act. He does 20. You go up and do 5 minutes, and then bring up Rob Bartlett.
Rob, yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was just off the Tonight Show 6 times.
Wow.
Really?
Johnny Carson. He was in a comedy team with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
He was a national headliner.
Yes.
And here's me on a Wednesday now in front of 20 people, and I eat it. So
of course.
I'm in the bathroom, shitting, splashing water on my face, going, what have I done? I quit my job in New York. I lost everything. I don't know what I'm doing. And there's a knock at the door. I open the door, and there's Rob Bartlett standing there. And he goes, what the fuck was that? I swear this is true. And I go, well, I just didn't know what to say or do. I went, and he goes, did you think that was funny? Let me tell you something, man. You're a journeyman comic. You're my worst nightmare. You need to get out of the business. The business doesn't want you, and it doesn't need you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And I go, and he goes, just kidding, man. That was fucking hilarious.
Welcome. That was it.
I come on like a prize fighter. I came out of the bathroom going, oh, my God. Yeah, so that's how I started at the Cleveland Comedy Club. Do you remember Phil Van Tee?
Yes.
Yes.
He's the one that told me to come to Boston.
Yeah.
Phil Van Tee.
And he was already established here. Letterman was into him and everything.
Okay.
So, I started at the Cleveland Comedy Club, and within 3 or 4 years, I moved to Boston because the comedy scene was exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in.
Did you know someone from Boston, or was it
instead
of going to New York? That was it? Phil? Okay.
He said, come and stay with me for a couple weeks. I stayed. I went to Tony V's open mic night.
Mm-hmm. I played
He
against
goes, we'll just go there. You won't be able to get up. There's too many comedians. We'll just go. I said, okay. So we go. There's Kristen Johnson working the door, his wife to be. And I walk in, and there's Tony standing right there. Phil goes, this is my friend Frank. He's a comedian from Cleveland. He goes, you're next. I go, what? I'm not kidding. He goes, you're next. It changes my life forever. I'm not kidding you.
Where was the open mic at that time? Where was
it? It was at the Charles Playhouse. And it was a big one. It was huge, packed. It was two.
That was upstairs
Sunday,
from
Monday.
what later became the Comedy Connection down below, the smaller, intimate 125 seat room. But upstairs it was a theater.
It really was. So anyway, Tony goes, you're next. I'm not kidding. Within minutes after I walked in the door, and it's packed. Everyone's there. Crimmins, Don Gavin, by the way, there's not going to be anybody there that books shows. Barkley and Downs are there. Mike Clark is there. Lenny Clark is there. Everybody's in this fucking room. And I go up and I'm going, I know you don't know what I'm going through. Standing here looking at you. Well, let me tell you that it hurts so bad.
Totally committed.
The crowd is in hysterics.
Totally committed.
I'm
That's why.
blowing the place apart with the biggest hack act they've ever seen in their lives. Everyone hates me. The whole room hates me.
But it's your commitment and your silliness that you didn't have the hour material yet. That you're in the beginning of your career. Like you said, you had your 5 or 10 minutes together, but you were hysterical for those 5 or 10 minutes. So it came naturally to you. So that's why when you win over a crowd like that, there's no denying. If they're laughing, the comedians will come out of the green room and look. They're going to look.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
you remember Al?
You stayed in Boston. You were like, I'm staying here now.
I was there for 2 weeks, and I was staying at Phil Van Tee's, actually Joe Yanetti's mother's apartment complex that she owned. And I was staying with Phil, and I had $2,000 in a drawer. I'm not kidding. like a gangster. I go, Phil, come here. Take some of this money. He goes, what? I go, take some of this money. I made $2,000, 300, 200, 200, like that. 150, 50. Remember how we used to say that, Al? How many days did you work in a row?
I was looking for a day off. I was like, I need a day off.
50. I remember you said to me 56 days in a row you worked. I did 39, and I thought I was good. But anyway, I mean, I said, take some of this money. He goes, why don't you go get an apartment? You've way overstayed your welcome.
But that's what we did.
I got out of Newbury Street. I'm not kidding. I took the train into town, got an apartment on Marlborough Street. Do you know where that is?
Right off of Mass
Back
Ave.
Bay. It's one of the oldest money in New England.
Blue Bloods.
Mm-hmm. Up close to Mass Ave was a dry cleaner, laundromat, and then my building was there. And it was a tenement house. It really was bad. There was a shower in the hallway, and I shared it with like 7 people on the floor. It was disgusting. And it was $75 a week, and it was a bedroom, literally a bedroom. So people would go, where do you live? And I'd go, Back Bay.
I got $2,000 in the drawer.
And these people are like, huh? What? Yeah.
But now, Al,
and did you just...
Go
go ahead.
I was going to
ask if you started... Were you starting to make money at that time in Boston? Was there enough
right
gig
away.
Where you could,
from that
right
gig,
away?
From that gig, I worked more than I ever worked in my life. I worked like 15 days in a row.
Right. All
where
cash.
we really made money. $50, $75, $100, cash. $125, like that. Mm-hmm. Every night of the week. Mm. And I amassed $2,000, and that's I told Phil I'm going to take some of his money.
Well, especially living in that building there. Now, Al, you've done some sofa surfing. I stayed at both of your places, by the way. You both put me up. And but here's the deal. Comedians would do that when you come into town. You go, hey man, crash on my couch, or I have an extra room, whatever. And but Frank and we're practically roommates. I stayed at 2 of your apartments and your house in Newton, or what was it? Waltham, Newton border. I stayed there. I stayed at 2 of your Alston places. You had a girlfriend who later became your wife, Linda. You're like, hey, this is Al. He's going to be staying with us for a couple of days. Just like, I'm like, did you give her a heads up? Then you stayed at my. Here's a story I really want to tell. You were coming down to New York, living in Boston, and you had just come off a development deal, and you had a pilot. You shot the pilot, blah blah blah. But you were auditioning like crazy, and you were booking like crazy. This is in the 90s, and you go, hey man, I got to go back for this. I think it's a big deal for this audition. And he goes, can I crash at your place? I want to come in a day or 2 early. I want to be fresh. I'm like, of course you can. And so he stays on my couch, and it was in Chelsea, New York City. And you go, hey dude, I booked that thing. He goes, I think it's going to be, I think it's good. I think it's going to be big. It's David Chase. He did Rockford Files, and he did something for PBS. He's a big deal. And it was the Sopranos. Little did you know, but I mean, you had a feeling, you thought it was like the real thing. It was going to be a good project.
The energy coming off of it.
Yeah.
It was like nothing else. I had nothing to compare it to, but at the same time, that was just, it was the energy coming off of it. Who was it? Nobody even knew who Gandolfini was. Mm-hmm. He showed up. Mm-hmm. Everybody was looking at him, And like he was Clark Gable.
Right. And you were going to New Jersey to shoot that, right? Because you were staying in Manhattan, and I lived not too far from the Lincoln Tunnel, and it was easy for you to cut through. But you didn't have to drive down from Massachusetts. You parked there for a couple of days to make sure that you were alert, because you knew this wasn't, it wasn't this. You weren't doing a podcast.
Well, I had to be there 5 hours before everybody else for my tattoos.
Yeah, that's right. You had the tattoos.
So I had to be on the set at 5 a.m. for a noon shoot. It took 6 hours to put the tattoos on.
What is it?
Wow.
Planet of the Apes costume? What were you doing? Tattoos?
It's been easier just to get tattoos.
Well, what was weird was I was in the makeup.
I would have just got them.
Trailer,
I said, fuck it.
David Chase walked in. David Chase walked in and said, put some tattoos on this guy. And the woman goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, just go crazy. put tattoos on both of his arms. Just like that. And so she goes, okay, and she just goes nuts. And it takes her like maybe a couple hours. But to recreate that again,
taking pictures,
5 hours. It took 5 hours to put them on.
Did they take what is it? Polaroid?
They took pictures.
They took Polaroid pictures.
Yeah, they did. Sure, they did. And that's how I knew I was coming back, because I was leaving, and the girl chased me and said, "Come on back, come on back." David Chase said, "Take pictures of your tattoos. This is huge." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "That means you're coming back. You might be coming back." It was always supposed to be a day player.
Right.
I was only supposed to be 1 day. Yeah, it was only supposed to be 1 day, and it ended up to be 13 episodes.
Now,
and in 10 of them, I got the shit kicked out of me.
Yes, you would get beat up by Gandolfini, pretty much. One time by Joey Pants. What's his name?
Yes.
Isn't that
Joe
his name?
Pantoliano.
Joe Pantoliano, yeah.
Pantoliano means little pants.
Yep.
It really does.
But
he seems kind of nuts in real life. I don't know. Is he kind of nuts?
I'll tell you what. If you go back and watch my scenes with him, he did stuff that I had no idea. He didn't say a word to me. Never introduced himself to me or anything. We get on the set. He grabs my face. He goes, he goes, "I've come to reclaim Rome," and he's grabbing me. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't tell me. And all my reactions were real. When he's stabbing me with the pool stick, the next day I had stab marks, bruises all over my stomach. He was really jabbing me with that thing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Crazy method actors.
Yeah, yeah. He always looks at it. He just looks like that. That guy's nuts. But it comes out great on
I loved him in
film,
The Matrix, too. Yeah, he was great.
Hey, Al, do you remember us getting lost and running out of gas?
No.
No. That was good. Me and you.
Well, yeah.
Somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Usually New Hampshire, Vermont.
We're on fumes.
Yeah.
And we have no idea where we're going. We're driving blind, and we see there's no gas stations anywhere. It's deserted, and we see a diner. Do you remember this? And I bust in the door, and I go, there's like 16 people in there eating, and they all turn, like in the movies, in the Star Wars movie, they all turn and look. Everybody turns to look, and I go, "Where's the fucking gas? This is show business. We got a show to do it."
He said this. This is show business. We got to be here. We have a show.
We're doing a show. Where the
people chewing, they're staring. Oh, too much fun.
And then the other time I was with, you got to hear this. This is hilarious. Remember Sam Greenfield?
Yeah, sure.
Me and Sam driving to Amherst, Massachusetts for some gig, and we're lost. We're completely and utterly, we're driving blind. And we see this ice cream store, and we pull in. It's just getting dark, and we're in danger of losing this gig, man. We're half an hour late right now. We're half an hour late. We're each getting $500.
That's a sick feeling, man. It's a sick feeling.
It's Panic City. We pull in, and the girl goes like this, shuts the lights off, and shuts the door. And Sam goes, ding, 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 knocks on the thing. And the girl goes like this. She looks like this. And Sam goes, "Yeah, hi. We're looking for the Amherst Country Club." And she goes, "Yeah, I don't know where that is." And she shuts the door. And he goes, do, 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 do. She opens the door. He goes, "Hi, listen, sweetie, we're really looking for the Amherst Country Club." She goes, "I told you I don't know where it is." And Sam goes, "Son of a bitch." Do, 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 do. And she goes, and he goes, "Listen, Missy, we're looking for this Amherst Country Club like we're looking for a lost baby." And the girl goes, "I'll go get my dad." He goes, "Yeah, why don't you do that?" He comes, he goes, "Yeah, it's just right up the road. Go that way." Like we're looking for a lost baby.
So that was on the way to North Adams, correct? That northwest corner pocket of Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
Or was it up there, or was it actually Amherst? Yeah, it was Amherst. I
couldn't remember. I can't remember. All I know is you were behind me, like you had guns. You were like you were wearing a gun belt. You walked in behind me, and I just went, "Where the fuck is the gas station?"
I remember driving.
This is showbiz.
I remember he went through this. Frank went through a phase where he would just lean on the horn under any circumstances. So we'd pull up to a red light to be like a Coca-Cola truck in front of us. And as soon as it turned green, And the truck driver would be like looking around. No matter what it was, he would just do it to anybody. He would just harass him. And we were in the back seat dying, knowing that we could get shot. But you just do it to anybody, man. The mailman, bonk. A family with a dog, bonk. And you kept doing it because we were laughing so much. I think you were going to do it once. But once we were howling, that was it. It was like a drug. It was,
just I'm the world's oldest teenager.
all right.
Did you stay in Boston, Frank? Did you ever move to New York?
You know what? No. I
No?
shared a place with Tony V, and it was like 6 people. Me, Eddie Brill, Tony V, a guy named Tom Bailey. We rented a place on 1st Avenue at 9th, right on the corner.
Oh.
And it was a nightmare because the noise was just ridiculous. It was the beginning of the Village there, you know what I mean? 1,000 people, 11 o'clock at night, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like there's 200 people walking around.
It was like,
it was
like
noise.
the Alphabet City started just below that and east. A lot of crime. It was just coming up. It was just becoming gentrified. Now you can't afford it there. It's just like the condominiums are $2 million. It's crazy. But
we used to take a sock.
So what would that be mid-90s? What are we, early 90s?
I would say early 90s.
Yeah, 90.
Early 90s,
90.
right?
We would take a sock, put $20 in it, and throw it out the window. And the sock would come back in with pot in it. We didn't even have to go out of the house. And then the guys we were doing that with stopped us on the street, dead on the street, and said, "Listen, man, it ain't working anymore. That $20 is bullshit. Got to be at least 50." Because we're gonna get popped out here for $20. I don't
blame them. And guess what? You paid that 50, didn't you?
You sure did.
It was still a bargain. It was still a bargain, right?
We didn't have to go anywhere.
Three or four guys chipping in. Yeah, that was awesome. Now, have you guys ever worked together, comedy gig wise?
Me and Al?
Yeah. I don't. No. I have a memory of meeting you, and it could be like did you MTV or Half Hour or one of those deals?
Oh yeah.
I met you in the green room in New York at a TV taping.
Yes.
And I knew you though. I don't know if we had met or I knew who you were.
I remember that. I swear to God. Now that you're saying
some kind of green room.
I was wondering how the hell I knew you.
Is this when you were playing the Elevator Man? You were playing the Elevator Man on MTV. Was that the show?
Yeah. No.
No, this was stand-up.
This was a straight stand-up show.
But it wasn't half-hour comedy. It was one of their other little things they had.
Yes.
They had these
and I remember there was like 30 of us all sitting there in the theater.
Yes.
And the standards and practices woman came out. And she said, I'll never forget this. She goes, "Yeah, don't mention the time of the year. Don't mention Christmas.
Evergreen.
Don't say Macy's.
Yeah.
Don't say Macy's. Don't say because we don't know when we're going to put this on. So don't make it, the time of the year friendly. So and don't swear. Don't say the F-bombs." And I raised my hand from the back of the room and I go. She goes, "Yes." I go, "Can we say cocky balls?" And then I think everybody was getting the same money, which is true of all those shows.
Right.
And it was like something absurd, like $729 or something. I raised my hand again, and she goes, "Yes." And I go, "When will we be receiving our $1,500 checks?" And everybody in the room went.
They start calling their agents and managers.
Everybody was fried by that. I said, "When will we be getting our $1,500 checks?"
That's great.
But yeah, I do remember that, Al. That's so weird. Yeah, what the hell was the name of that? I couldn't say the name of that show.
I couldn't either. It was one of those.
I remember it was NBC. It was at NBC, and that was just weird.
So it was tied in with NBC and MTV? It was
because I remember seeing Jay Leno's notes on like a podium. We were in NBC for some reason. I don't remember.
It was like early 90s. And then did you ever work the Comedy Stop? Atlantic City, Cap Park? Never did that? Because I'm trying to think what about and the other place I'm picturing you, Toppers in Brooklyn? Did you work Toppers?
Oh, yeah.
In Brooklyn.
Yes, I did
Yeah.
that club.
Because I can, all my memory is I see you on stage doing the drinking guy bit, and it's like toppers, and I don't. So that's the memory I have. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
toppers in Brooklyn.
That bit.
So now
that bit. Holy shit! That
Crusher.
Was,
that was a Crusher bit.
That was one of those. That was one of those bits where you just go, I'm not going to have anything like that. That fucking destroyed, man. God damn. I mean, it's no Captain from Gilligan's Island, but it is a fucking killer. Tell you, that thing.
Well, Tony V said it best. He goes, Frank, in between the skipper from Gilligan's Island and the car tire in the snow bit, write a joke.
Too funny. Now,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I was going to jump ahead. We actually recruited you to do an episode of the Two Dicks called the Turf War Dicks, and we were shooting it in Malden and at the firehouse. Where I'm going to give something away, but you were playing like a mob guy, like a bodyguard type of guy, and it's revealed at the end you're not even that guy. You're actually like a flamboyant guy applying for a job. And we kind of like laid it on you. This is what it was. And I think you were pretty good with everything until we got to that part. And you're like, so I'm going to be this tough guy and then I'm going to be flamboyant. I'm like, yes. And I thought it was genius. And you did it very well, but you were like a little perplexed by doing it. So let me get this right. I'm going to be like this mob guy. And then I just start being effeminate. I'm like, yes. And you did it. You did it. So thank you for that.
Hey,
it was out of nowhere.
Are you going to show the clip? Are we going to the clip?
Wait, let's go to the videotape. Yes, there it was. Now, only a few people are going to be able to see that, our Patreon members. And if you'd like to be a supporter on our Patreon page, go to patreon.com/the2dicks and pledge as little as $5 a month. And you'll be able to get exclusive videos and other sketches that regular folk aren't able to see. Isn't that right, Al?
Well, yeah, you want to see Frank. I mean, you're listening to him. You want to see what the hell. Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy from The Sopranos. I recognize that guy.
And
there he is. That's the beauty of the Patreon.
Yes. Yep. I'm sorry.
You want to see it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Well, it's all right. So check it out. Patreon.com/the2dicks. And the episode with Frank is playing on YouTube. The Two Dicks Turf Wars. You can check that out. It's there 24/7. However, 7 days a week. Mm. However, I don't know. I don't know.
A guy walks in on his wife in bed with another guy, and he looks, and the wife looks at the guy she's in bed with and goes, "Well, look who's here, Big Mouth. Now the whole neighborhood's gonna know." Hello. Isn't that funny? It's so stupid. Well, look.
Give me two more, Frank. Give me two more quickies.
Guy walks in and he sees his wife in bed with another guy, and he goes, "What in the hell are you people doing?" And the wife looks at the guy in bed and she goes, "See, I told you he was stupid." Guy walks in and sees his wife in bed with another guy. Boom, shoots him. The wife goes, "Hey, asshole, if you keep doing that, you're not going to have any friends left."
Yes.
Have
you done?
I miss comedy. I miss comedy, man.
Have you done any shows, Frank? Have you done like the outdoor? Have you done an outdoor under a tent or shit?
April 10th, I'm with Lenny Clack and Christine Hurley at someplace in Dennisport.
Oh, cool. Yeah, but you've done a few giggles in 2020, right? Before they were locked down again.
I did some tent shows there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did that go? How was that?
It was good.
It seemed like
really good. It was
the online stuff looked good. So
Yeah, it was good. It was. They're going to do it again. They're bringing out the tent again in March. So that's the only thing they can do, I guess. That's the only thing anybody can do.
Now how do you feel about what's your take on the vaccine? Did you get it yet? Are you looking to get it?
No.
Are you afraid of it?
63. I'm 63, so I got to wait a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting.
Here's what you do, Frank. You find out where they're administering the shots, and you kick the door open. And you go, "This is show business. Where's my shot?"
Do you know who I am?
Do you
know? That's a great story. Errol Flynn, one of these old actors, is in an old folks' home, going, "Do you have any idea who I was? Do you know who I am?" And the one guy goes, "No, but if you go to the front desk, they'll tell you who you are."
He's got a million of them.
Yeah, no, I miss everything, man. I miss show business. Yeah. I miss the whole thing. It's terrible, huh? Jesus, they took it right away from us.
Now
that's the without warning. That was the thing. Yeah. Everything was normal, and then it just stopped, and we found out how unessential we are. You know, I mean, it's nothing happening. Right. Yeah.
But Al has been able to get a handful of the live performances. Not always the best circumstances, outdoors or whatever, but. You certainly have done a lot more than I have. And how does it feel, Al, to do you feel like you're back in the game, or is it still not normal?
No, completely not normal. Because I did what was open and available, but then there's only so many of them, and then that ran out, and now there's nothing. Because I've done the ones that were there, so now I have nothing again. And outdoor shows aren't. That's just it's not what we do. And so, I mean, I was happy to just be on stage and do some jokes, but it doesn't feel real at all. So, I mean, I did some shows. That was good, but not like what we know and what we want to do. So,
And Frank, have you done any online stuff, the Zoom stuff, Zoom performances?
Yeah. And it's terrible.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah. I hate it.
I hate the anticipation of it drives me. I'm like, I'm on in 5 minutes. What am I going to do? And once I do them, I'm fine. But the anticipation of doing them just bugs me.
I did a show once where they brought me into the living room, and I did the show against the fireplace. Everybody has stories about what people say to them right before they go up. I think I win the prize. I'm just about to go on. I'm getting like $300 to do a half an hour in front of the fireplace. It's Christmas. I remember it's Christmas decorations all over the place. Tree.
Wait. Did you know these people? Is this a fan?
Absolutely not.
Who got you this beauty? Who got you this gig?
Couldn't tell you.
Happened? Just happened. Okay.
Just happened.
Okay.
The guy comes up to me, and he's like, I'm in the wings. And he hands me my three $100 bills, and he goes, "I hope you're funny. There've been some deaths in the family."
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that's a tough
one. Go right into Skipper? Did you open with the Skipper? I wouldn't fuck around, man. I go Skipper.
Little, what do you
Just keep
say?
doing that.
Do you do little buddy? What do you say?
Gilligan, little buddy.
Gilligan, little buddy.
Little buddy. And Jack Walsh, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came out one time at the kind of Giggles with a blue jacket and a sailor hat. And he goes, "I'm the Skipper from Gilligan's Island." He comes off stage and I go, "I'm knocking you out, man." I said, "I'm knocking you out." He goes, "Oh, no, I wasn't stealing your thing." I said, "What do you mean you weren't stealing? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, there's room for one Skipper in this town. That's it. Wow.
Wow. So, hey, man, again, vaccine, when are we going to get back to normal? Do you think it's going to be, not normal, but at least, is it going to be summertime, some sense of...
Hopefully.
June, July.
I think summer. There's like New York now. They're letting in a couple thousand to see the basketball and hockey and
absolutely.
I think it's slowly. I think baseball is going to let in a few thousand to start, and it's so slow. But comedy clubs maybe in the summer. Maybe they'll start opening the doors a little bit, and we'll slowly get back. I mean, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
All said and done.
I said. Yeah. I said that.
Even with these new...
Mike's going at 90. He'll have 90 people. Mike Clark at Giggles, he could do 90 in the tent.
Right.
90 in the tent. Okay.
So that's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. He was used to having 160.
Right.
Every show for 20 years.
When we were
and really packed in there.
When we were doing the Turf War Dicks, Al and I actually worked Giggles that weekend, and Al tore it up. It was packed though. You're right.
Wow,
Yeah, it's like,
it was fun.
I
I had never been there. That was actually my first time at Giggles.
Mike Clark
right?
can't wait to get him back. Can't wait to get him back.
Fun.
He's like,
Absolutely.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But they were
Absolutely.
packed. I mean, that club was shoulder to shoulder, packed in there tight.
they added a
you
table
know,
over by the door, just
Yeah.
put a two chopper.
Well,
we were
the two
doing
dicks,
blow in the bathroom.
I didn't see any blow in there. I'll be honest.
That was
Last
the
March.
'90s. That was the '90s.
Oh, the '90s. Oh, I see. Okay.
Early '90s.
Did you ever come to Tampa, Frank? You ever work any of the Tampa?
Never worked Tampa.
Clubs? Really?
Never
Wow.
worked Tampa.
Wow.
So you're basically
Okay.
you were like New York, well, Boston, obviously, Cleveland, New York, a little bit of LA because you were doing pilot seasons out there. You and I shared a studio apartment in West Hollywood, right?
I remember
right down
that.
the street from the Laugh Factory. We were subletting it from the late Pete Cummin. Pete passed
That's
away
correct.
almost 5 years ago now. But he met a girl by the pool in this apartment complex. Her name was Joanna. And she was gorgeous. And they fell in love. And so he was staying at her one-bedroom apartment all the time. So he said, I'm going to sublet my apartment to comedians when they come in for pilot season. Frank calls me up. He goes, hey, you want to go halfsies on this? It's $200 each a month. It was underground. But do you remember
Right.
we would step on the bed and look out the basement windows at Joanna in her bikini by the pool? And we're like,
I
wow,
do.
Pete's tagging that. Oh my God. But we had so much fun.
Can I tell my Pete Cummins story?
Sure.
And you guys probably have to go, right?
Yeah, we'll be wrapping up.
Yeah, Pete Cummins and I are working together someplace in the middle of nowhere, and I bring him up on stage. And I realize when I said his name that he's like 50 yards away. So it's going to take him forever to get up there.
Right.
And there's that total dead airspace. And all you hear is clunk, clunk, clunk of his cowboy boots. Clunk, 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 total silence. He gets up on the stage and he adjusts the mic. Some guy goes, nice walk, asshole. And all we thought of after the show was me and Pete were standing there laughing at this. What an asshole this guy was. He had nothing. He didn't know what color the skin was. He didn't know what the guy was wearing. He didn't know anything other than his walk. That's the only thing he had to grab onto. Nice walk, asshole.
And now Pete has to open up. He hasn't even spoken yet.
That's
He has to
great.
do his first joke. Oh man. Well, Frank, thanks for taking the time
Hey.
for coming on and hanging out with us.
No
we
problem,
had Artie Januario on. He's the only other. No, we had Helen Keeney as well. We have had a couple of people
I
from the
love
Two
her.
Dick series on. We had Artie on because it was the beginning of the pandemic, and he's a pharmacist, and he was dealing with a lot of the hysteria that was going on in the beginning of the pandemic, and he had some great posts. So we brought him
Almost
on.
a year ago.
Yeah, almost a year ago.
Really? Yeah.
But
Jeez.
our goal eventually is to have everybody who's been on the Two Dicks web series. And but thanks, man. Always a pleasure
got it.
hanging with you. I feel
Thanks,
like
buddy.
we're roommates.
Yeah.
We stayed together in like 6 different places over the years, and I had so much fun just hanging out, going to movies,
You got it.
smoking a bone. No one's going to hear
I
that.
know.
Smoking a bone, going to see The Hunt for Red October. At Fresh Pond Theater Cinema.
Remember we went to see Patriot games?
Yes.
Remember the Patriot games and the sound wasn't working for the first 10 minutes of the film?
I got us a refund.
You did.
I got us a refund. You're like, nah, we'll just screw it. It's a matinee. It's $5.50, and I'm like, no, we're getting our money back. We're getting our money back. I need to speak to the manager. Yeah, but they gave us like a credit, whatever.
Right.
That was so much fun.
Well, thanks again, Frank. Great seeing
no
you as
problem,
always. And hope to see
Thanks,
you in
guys.
person
You got
at some
it.
point.
This summer.
Yeah.
All right.
This summer.
Let's hope. Maybe.
All right. Adios, everybody.
Maybe.
Thanks for listening.
See you later, buddy.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
Fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
No, really, don't mess with me, because I don't come down to the bus station and slap the dick out of your mouth when you're working, do I? Oh, get on up here, motherfucker. Give me security. I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
Okay, show it.
All right. Subscribe, Mary.
Go to patreon.com/forward2dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.